Welcome to my informative speech on how to strip and wax floors. It started about 7 years ago. My husband and I came up with a business plan. We wanted to become a janitorial service. We went out and we got different bids and we became really big in what we were doing. We had an action plan. We went out and got different businesses and things grew and grew and grew. One of the buildings that we actually cleaned was a commercial building. It was a clinic, and we had to clean this building every single day. And in the contract, every 6 months, we had to strip and wax floors. A lot of people think stripping and waxing of floors is really hard, but it's really not. It's really simple. If you take my simple instructions on how to strip and wax floors, you will be just like the professionals. So you ask a question: what does it really take to strip and wax floors? Many people who are looking to get their floors in shape really don't know the procedures involved. They think you can simply spread some stripper down, clean it up, and apply the floor finish. That is about as far as what it takes as one to get. If you want your floors looking their best, you have to know how to strip and wax floors. It's not as hard as you may think, but you do need to know the procedures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the steps of how to have nice floors. If you follow my instructions, you will have the nice floors. Before you even get started, you need to make sure that you have the right equipment and supplies to do the job. First of all, you'll need to have a dust mop. You'll need to have several cotton or even blended mops, finish mops for the wax, a mop bucket, and some clean trash bags, a slow speed floor machine, some black stripping pads, and a wet dry vacuum. And if you don't know what these things are, you can also go to a supply store, a janitorial supply store, and they can break each one of these down to you and let you know what you'll need to do the job. The chemicals that you'll need floor stripper, you'll need a neutral rinse, and a good sealer. And you'll also need a floor finish. Not everybody uses a good sealer. If you want the best results for your floors, you will get this floor sealer. The first step is to strip and wax the floor to dust. The first step of stripping and waxing the floors is first to dust mop or sweep it in order to clean up all the particles or dirt, dust that's on the floor. You want to get everything off of the floor. So in order to start the first process, you need to make sure everything's up, everything's spick and span and clean. Then next you'll need to choose a product that takes one application. We normally use the Hilliard Devastator. It's actually a product that we use to actually strip the floor. We've used it for years, so I just recommend that one. You can always ask your local janitorial supply store. They can also give you some good ones as well. You'll need your mop bucket you'll need to fill the stripper according to the label that's on the stripping pad. Apply the mixture in a liberal amount to the floor using one of the cotton or blend mops. Be sure you only work in small areas at a time. You don't want to start on one area and then start way over here and start real huge. You want to start in a small area at a time. A couple of mistakes people will make is when they strip and wax the floor, it is not to apply enough. They don't apply enough stripper, allowing the floor to dry, which means it's harder to rinse the floor. Once you have the stripper on the floor, let it stand a few minutes, allowing it to work and elusify the wax. Let your floor machine work. The next step you'll need to do is have your floor machine. We call it a buffer. With the floor machine, with a black strip pad, you'll put a black strip pad on the back of the floor machine. A scrub the area with the stripper, so you'll put the pad on, and then you'll actually use the machine and it actually moves just like this, but you'll use the machine in the area which you're stripping. Once you have it all scrubbed, use the wet dry vacuum to pick up the bulk of the loosened wax and the stripper. Continue this process until the whole entire floor has been stripped. Using another clean blend mop, rinse the entire floor with a neutral rinse. This will ensure the seal and the floor finish will adhere to the towel without flaking or pilling. You don't want to leave any flaking or pilling, because that will actually, when you get ready to wax it, you'll actually see that in the floor. Again, you'll need to follow the directions on the label of the the stripper that you're actually putting in. Once the floor has been prepped, you are ready to apply the floor sealer. Now this is a step that everybody doesn't use the floor sealer. We did because we were actually doing this for our business. We wanted to maintain the business, we wanted to keep the business, and we wanted to satisfy our customers. The sealer was recommended. We also recommend the Hillyard, and that you can actually go to the Hillyard website, Hillyard, www.hillyard.com, and you can actually purchase this sealer from the website. Many do not see this step as, like I said, as being necessary, but in order to make the customers happy, you have to go that extra mile. So we did that to make them happy. To apply the sealer, you will need to line the inside of the mop bucket with a clean trash bag. You'll pour the sealer into the bucket and dip your finish mop in saturating it completely. Apply the sealer using your finish mop, which can be nylon mop or it can either be a rayon mop, okay? So these are the different types of mops that you can use to put your sealer down. For the best results, apply 2 coats according to the dry time between each coat, okay? So you want to get the best results in doing this. So once you apply that, you want to at least give it enough dry time before you actually go back and do another coat. The last step in doing this to apply your floor finish, you're going to put the finish on. The process for this is the same as applying the sealer. You will need a minimum of 4 coats to finish to see the best results. This will also give you a greater depth of shine. So you want to make sure your floors are clean. You want to make sure they're shining. So, and you don't want to make sure, one thing that people make a mistake of is when they're first initially dust mopping and sweeping, they actually leave things, little particles on the floor. And believe it or not, when you're actually putting the stripper, the seal, and the wax down, you can see these things. So make sure you clean them to the very best that you can possibly clean. Make sure everything is up. Okay, be sure you allow plenty of time between the coats. This is actually for the finish now. Make sure you're applying plenty of time between the coats, allowing the finish to completely dry. It may be necessary to apply only 2 or 3 coats and come back the next day to apply the rest. Several times we've done it and we've actually come back the next day. We'll actually put the sealer and we'll actually do the wax, and then we'll wait a whole day because you want to make sure you don't want to actually go back and actually put something down and go back and put more over something that's not dry. So you want to at least give it enough dry time. So I think a day is perfect for dry time if that will permit for you to actually do. If you follow, and after you do all this, if you follow the procedures that I've just told you on how to strip and wax the floors, then you will be proud of what you've done, and people will notice it in the facility that you're doing it for, and the best results you will actually be praised for the results that you've done. So again, I must say, you don't have to be a professional in order to do stripping and waxing, but if you follow my simple directions, the person that you're doing it for will think you're a professional. Thank you so much for your attention, and you guys have a nice day.